If you're in your 60s and wondering whether you can stop working now, retirement planning at 60 starts with a number that might surprise you. 46% of retirees stopped working earlier than they had planned. Will you be one of them? That question is what this all comes down to, and your bank balance cannot answer it. 3 costs answer it instead, but not one of them shows up on your retirement statement, so most people never see them coming. All 3 arrive for the same reason. You stopped working, and each one has a price. Here's what happens next. I'll price all 3 retirement costs one at a time. The first is one you hand over on purpose, without ever calling it a cost. The second lasts exactly 2 years. The third runs 5, and for most people it is the one that decides this. Then I'll pull all 3 together and you will know where you stand on stopping work now. One honest thing before the first cost. Money is not the only thing that decides this. Go back to that 46% for a moment. The Employee Benefit Research Institute asked those retirees why they went early. Mostly because health gave out or because the job disappeared, not because they picked the date. So 3 forces set a stopping date: health, the employer, and money. Here is why that matters for you. Health and the employer do not keep a schedule. Money is different. It is the one part you can plan. That is why this video stays on the costs. They are the part of stopping work that is still in your hands, and they are worth planning because of what is on the other side. Most people work to 65 because that is when Medicare starts. Retire at 60 instead, and those 5 years become yours. Not the job's. You get to enjoy those years while you're younger. And for most people, healthier. Every retiree I listened to said a version of the same thing. The early years are the ones you actually spend. So this is not a video about talking anyone out of stopping work. It is a video about what those 5 years cost, so that anyone who wants to start enjoying retirement sooner rather than later can make that trade with their eyes open. I'm Warren, I'm not an advisor, and I'm not selling anything. I got curious about this one because I wanted to know whether I could stop working at 60, and every answer I found was about everything except that question. So I looked it up myself and found the 3 costs with the biggest say in the answer. The numbers come from the IRS, from Social Security itself, and from the Kaiser Family Foundation. I'll name each one as it comes up. Cost 1. The saving you have not finished yet. This one has a real say in whether you can stop. It starts with an honest question. If you stopped today, is the saving done? For a lot of people at 60, it is not. And the timing here is cruel. These are the exact years the tax code hands you your biggest saving power, straight from the IRS. This year, most people can put $24,500 into a workplace retirement account. At 50, you can add a catch-up of $8,000. But at 60, 61, 62, and 63, that catch-up rises to $11,250. At 64, it drops back down. These limits are tied to inflation, so they step up again next year, and the shape of the rule stays exactly the same. 4 years, and only 4 years, at the highest contribution the tax code will ever offer, and they only work while a paycheck is coming in. Retiring at 60 with the saving unfinished means walking past that window for good. That is the cost. Across those 4 years, the higher catch-up alone is $45,000 of contributions never made. I am not going to go over the details here because I already made that video. It is called The Retirement Rule Almost Everybody Gets Wrong at 60, and the link is in the description. So here is the question. Is the saving done? If it is, this one barely counts. You are freer than you think. If it is not, 60 to 63 is the last best chance to fix it, and stopping now spends that chance. By the way, if you are thinking through this stage of your own retirement, I would be glad to have you along. I make these videos so nobody has to figure this out alone. Subscribing is the simplest way to stay with me. Cost 2, the years you would carry alone before Social Security can start. These 2 years have more say than most people expect. Here is why. The earliest age anyone can begin retirement benefits is 62. That is simply a date on the calendar. The same way 65 is a date for Medicare. When to actually file is a different decision, and a personal one. So stop working at 60, and you have 2 years with the paycheck gone and Social Security not available yet. Every dollar you spend comes out of your savings. Whether your savings can carry that bridge is one of the clearest tests of whether you can stop. Start with the size of the bridge. Look at what the average retired worker actually gets. Social Security's own figures put it at about $2,084 a month, and that rises with the cost of living every January. So 2 years without it is roughly $50,000 that your savings may have to cover instead. and the timing makes it heavier than it looks. Those first 2 years are when the balance sits at its highest, so every dollar drawn early is a dollar with the most growing left to do. Working to 62 does not just add income, it leaves the whole balance untouched through its 2 strongest years. So here's the question. Can your savings carry 2 full years of your life without shrinking the years that come after? Cost 3. The one I told you would decide this for most people. Health coverage. For most working people, the health plan is the job's health plan. So if there is no plan for coverage after the job, this is the cost that quietly pushes the stopping date out of reach. Not because anyone wants to keep working, because this bill has nowhere else to go. Medicare starts at 65. Not 60, not 62. 65. Stop at 60, and you are buying your own coverage for 5 years. Here's the national number from the Kaiser Family Foundation. For a 60-year-old, the average unsubsidized benchmark, Silver Plan, runs $15,914 a year. That is about $1,326 a month. 2 things about that number, and both matter. First, it is unsubsidized. Premium tax credits can bring it down a long way, and what you actually pay depends on your income. So, treat that figure as the sticker price, not as your price. Second, look at what the same person pays once Medicare begins. For next year, Medicare expects that standard Part B premium to be about $210 a month. So the sticker price at 64 can run more than 6 times what it becomes at 65. 5 years of that, at the national average, is just under $80,000. And that pays off what I said at the start. Of the 3, this is the biggest. It is also the one almost nobody budgets for. That is why it decides this for most people. So here's the question. Is there a plan and a budget line for coverage in the years before Medicare? If there is not, the problem is not wanting to stop. The problem is this bill. You have 3 top costs now, the ones with the biggest impact on whether you can stop working. So tell me where you land. Are you leaning towards stopping work at 60 or working a while longer? Put it in the comments. Your honest answer helps the next person more than you know. So let's see how we can help each other. So is it a good idea to stop working now? Only your own numbers can answer that. But you can get remarkably near an answer tonight. The answer sits inside 3 questions you now know how to ask. Question 1. Is the saving done, or were 60 to 63 going to be your biggest saving years? Question 2. Can your savings carry 2 years of living costs with nothing arriving from Social Security? Question 3. Is there a plan and a budget line for health coverage until Medicare begins? 3 yeses, and stopping work now is a far simpler decision than most people make it out to be. 3 no's, and you have just found the 3 specific things standing between you and your answer. That is a very different position from only feeling behind. And a split answer, which is where most people land, is not a failure. That is the actual answer. It tells you which of the 3 to work on and which one does not apply to you at all. And remember what sits on the other side of the ledger. Health does not keep a schedule, and the 5 years do not come back later. The costs are what you plan around. Those 5 years are what you are planning for. That decides more than whether you can leave the job. It decides how much of those 5 years you spend actually enjoying retirement, instead of watching your balance. Notice what none of those 3 questions asked. Not one of them asked how much you have saved. The balance is the number everyone reaches for, and it is the one number that cannot answer this. That is what retirement planning at 60 really is, not a target balance. 3 costs and 3 honest answers about whether you can carry them. So that is what stopping work at 60 costs. $45,000 in contributions never made. About $50,000 that savings may cover before Social Security can start, and just under $80,000 for 5 years of coverage. Against 5 years of your own time, in what are likely to be your healthiest years. Nobody can make that trade for you, and nobody should try. But you can make it now with real numbers instead of a feeling. Want to go one step further? The next question is readiness itself, at any age. That is the video called Am I Ready to Retire? The 7 questions that actually answer it. It picks up exactly where this one stops. Retire with Warren is retirement facts, not fear. No retirement planning hype, no gloom and doom. Just me doing the homework and passing along what I find. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.